Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Get Active TV, Rise and Shine. My name is Sam, and I'll be leading you through the first half of today's Power to Zen class. Now, the second half will be led by Dawn. She'll be leading you through the second half of the Power to Zen class. Before we start, let's check out this week's schedule. Okay, so the Power to Zen class is a series where Dawn and I have developed to help you build through your physical and lifestyle transformation. So stay tuned with us every Wednesday at 8:30 to 9:30 and follow us through the whole entire progression. Now, before we start, we'll need a few items. So these are all common household items. Try to have them handy. If you don't, it is absolutely fine. So I've got a stick with me, a towel, a mat, and a chair. Now, I believe all of us are sitting on the chair right now, so we're going to start off today's movements and activation from the chair, okay? So, staying on a chair right now, okay? Make yourself nice and comfortable. We're going to go through two rounds of 10 repetitions for each movement. So, let's get started, okay? Find a nice comfortable position on the chair. Get yourself to come up to a stand, and then going back down. Make sure you're breathing through. There's no posture or positioning right now, but I just want you to start moving. So if you're still seated down there, pull your chair back, get yourself away from the table, and start moving. And that's 7, 8. Notice I'm pushing my hips up to bring myself up to a standing position. Okay. And then get back down to a sit. Now the second movement that we're going to do is a seated pigeon. Okay, basically means that we're crossing our legs. So go into a cross-legged mode. If you can't quite cross as much, it's okay to stay like this. If not, try to have your ankle over your knee and then press your knee downwards. Okay, press your knee downwards. And then as it goes down, again, focus on your breathing. Exhale going down. And then going down further. It's called tension and load. So creating some tension in the hip socket, and then from here using my body weight to load in. We've got 5 more to go. Again, go nice and slow. So this is a very good variation, especially if you're not comfortable going down to the ground, to go into a pigeon pose. And then we switch side. Again, ankles over your knee. Create some tension in the hip socket. Lean your body forward. Go into a stretch. Should be able to feel the stretch across your buttocks. Some of you might feel it across your hamstrings, your inner groin. If you're comfortable, you could also be pulling your foot upwards and then pushing your knee downwards. We have 2 rounds, so take your time to explore. There's no right or wrong. Be familiar with discomfort or pain. Some pains are good, not all pains are bad. Last 2. And last 1. Okay. Now move yourself away from the chair. You're going to try to go down to a nice deep squat. Okay, if you hear some popping, as long as it's not super uncomfortable, just stay with it. Okay? Now, as I mentioned earlier, if you have a pole, you can use it to stabilize yourself. Okay? Coming back to a stand, we have 10 from now, going down to a deep squat. The challenge is try not to have your body leaning forward too much. So if you can lift your toes off the ground and stay on your heels all the time, that will be fantastic. Staying on your heels, push your hip forward, your pockets forward to come to a stand. Last 4. Last 3. Last 2. And last 1. Okay, now this one is interesting. It allows us to stretch our hamstrings out. So you're going to go down into a squat once again, all forward bending, holding on to your ankles, again go into a squat. and stand. If you can feel the stretch across your hamstring, that would be fantastic. And then going down, but if you're flexible, you probably won't feel anything. Come up to a stand. What we're trying to do over here is not even warm up yet, it's activation. Getting your body ready to go into physical activity. So I always say, go slow so that you can finish strong. Last 5, pop your buttocks up, feel the stretch across your hamstrings, and then going down. Last 4. The position of the stand is not the most important, so if you're comfortable going narrower, go ahead. If you're more comfortable going out wider, you can do that as well. And last 1. Okay, now second round, we're going to go back onto the chair. But this time round, I want you to adjust your footwork to find the most comfortable position to bring yourself up to an upright standing position. Going down and up. If you find that as you are standing, you're leaning forward, then you're probably engaging a little bit too much of your knees. So adjust, bring your heels back a little bit, stand tall, use your shoulder to lead the way. That's 4, 5, 6. Constantly adjusting your footwork to find the most comfortable position. 9, and one more time, and 10. Okay, now I've got a high stool beside me. So I just want to show you a variation, okay? So if you've got a high stool or low table at home, you can also be placing, let me turn the other way around, better? Okay, I want you to be placing your knee as well as your shin on top of the table or high stool. Focus on bending your back knee to go down and up. Down 2 and up. Of course, you can stay on your seat and perform the same thing like what we did earlier. Last 5, going down deep and up. Last 3, going down deep. Stretch, feel the stretch across your butt and your hamstrings. And stand. If you've got a tight ITB, you might be able to feel the stretch here as well. Last 2. And last 1. Okay, switching sides. Find a nice comfortable position. Like I said, this is just an activation. You want to be able to feel every inch of your muscle working with you, so that during the workout, your muscles and your joints will all be ready. Get that stretch deep, progressively lower if you can. We've got last 5. And like I said earlier, if you don't have a high chair or a table, just continue to do this on the chair with your legs crossed on top of one another. Last 2. And last 1. Okay. Now with the chair in front of me, this is more of a regression. So early on, we went down to the squat and stand on our own. So if you need to, you can use the table or high chair again, hold it to counterbalance, push yourself up to a stand. Okay. 9 more from here. Go down deep, squat, stretch, and stand. Now, regardless of your knees or your ankles or your hip or your lower back mobility, I believe everyone should be able to go down into a deep, deep squat. Okay, we call this the fetus position. So try to challenge yourself or work with your body to regain that mobility and conditioning. Okay, last 3, going down and stand. Last 2, going down and stand. And one last one, going down and stand. Okay, now we're back to ankle holding squats. There are many interesting names for this movement, but I just like to call it ankle holding squats. So going down to a squat once again and press up. Now today's session is also focusing on knee conditionings and knee strengthening. So if you've got knee issues, you should definitely be staying tuned or following through the movements with us. That's 5. We've got 5 more to go. Last 4. Exhale going up. Inhale going down. Last 3. Last 2. And last 1. Okay? So come back to the stand. Shake it off a little bit. Move your shoulders around. Okay? We're going to go into the actual warm-up. Okay? So, to get us ready, once again, go down to a pause and stand. We've got 3 rounds, 10 reps each time. Once again, going down to a squat, pause and stand. Pause and stand. Pause and stand. I'm not pushing my buttocks too far behind. Coming up to a stand. Going down to pause and stand. Pausing and standing. If you can bring your thighs or your butt or your pockets right about parallel to the ground, that'll be fantastic. Going down and stand. Last 3. Going down. Last 2. Going down and stand. One last one. Going down and stand. Okay, after working on our lower bodies so much, like I mentioned, we are working on knees conditioning and hips conditioning. So you find that there's a lot of lower body movement for this first half of the session. We're going to go down to a bending. I call it a prone and a stand. Okay? All right, going down, walk your legs out, prone or rest on the ground, and stand. Because we are warming up, so try to move slow. Get your heart rate and your breathing coming in. There are 3 rounds altogether. The first round is slow. Got last 4. Nice and slow. Last 3. You can switch the leg or step back. The step back legs can switch. And stand. Okay? Wipe the sweat off. All right. Now, next movement, common one, we're going to go into jumping jacks. Okay? So your hands will go out, coming back after the jump, hands up, and then jump. 10 reps to go. Ready, and let's go. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Try to be able to coordinate. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's it, okay? First round done. Like I mentioned, this is relatively slow. And I just want to repeat that this is meant to be a power class. So at the end of the day, we want to help you develop power, okay? Now the second movement that we're going to go, or the second round that we're going to go into is lateral squats. So go into a squat on one side, push your body up, move on to the other side. If you find that it's hard to balance, you can either have your hand on the ground or holding onto the stick or the chair, push your body up. And then down to the other side. If you find that your heels is popped up, it is okay, so long as you find the balance. We want to help you find good range of motion first. It's only when your joints are mobile, then we can start to work on stability, strength, speed, and power. Okay? We have 10 on each side. Once you get more familiar with the movement, you can start to speed it up just a little bit more. I'm going slow, but if you can go faster, go ahead and just wait there for me. Okay, I'm going to go 2 more on each side, going down and pop back up, going down, pop up, last one, stand, and notice I'm standing sideways to push my body back to the center. Okay? Now, next one we're going to work on, it's a broad jump. We don't have to go far, but what we want to see is the opening of our hips. Okay, so go into a quarter squat, pop yourself up to a stand, and then land. Same thing from the other side. Push your buttocks back, extend, and land. Okay, we have 10 jumps. Try to land nice and soft. You don't have to go far. Just stay balanced. Even if you're jumping on the spot, it is fine. We just want to be able to see the buttocks clenching and the hips opening. We got last 3. Last 2. Pop and jump. And last 1. Okay, so round 2 completed. We're going to go into round 3. Bring the pace up a little bit. We're going to bring the speed and the power up a little bit as well. So this time around, upon going down the squat, we're going to go up into a jump. Kind of look like this. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, simple one. Doesn't matter how high you're jumping, doesn't matter how low you're squatting, just practice popping up, okay? Now, next one, we're going to do as a prone and jump, hop forward and hop back, okay? Hop your feet in and stand. And now, hop your feet in and stand. So instead of walking out earlier, we're hopping in and out. Okay? Always focusing on standing back tall. Okay? Again, it's 10 reps. Go nice and slow. We have 5 more. Last 4. Last 3. Last 2. And last 1. Okay? So if you find that it's challenging for you to pop your feet back into position really far, close to your chest, it's okay. Just a small little pop, walk your hands, they'll be fine. Okay? Now, we're going to go into jumping lunges. So we're going to start off from a high kneeling position. So for a high kneeling position means that your front knee is over your ankle and your back hip is over your knee joint. And then from there, you push your body upwards, making sure the front foot is pushing, the back foot is also pushing at the same time. From the down position, you try to get up and very quickly switch over. Going down, up, switch over. Okay? Quick option, if you find that this is quite challenging, just backward lunges. Push your body up really nice and fast. Okay? We're going to go back to jumping lunges. Last 3 on each side. So up. Last 2 on each side. Last 1. Okay, so I hope you're enjoying the warm-up. Get your heart rate out, get the breathing out, get some sweat out, or get some perspiration in as well. We're going to go into our training today, okay? So today's training goes by 3 rounds the same, 10 reps each time, and this is the actual power training. Now, when it comes to power training, don't be in a rush. Make sure your movement quality is high, and make sure that the power exertion or execution is accurate and efficient, okay? So we're going to go into lunge and jump. That's the first movement. Go into a lunge and jump. And we have 10 aside, okay? The second movement is a push-up. Now I stand by the towel on the side, and you see why I have the towel in a while. Now, again, power training means that we want to be able to push off. Regardless of how high the push off is, what you want to see is a quick extension movement or quick push off movement. So movement is always the same, but power and efficiency varies from people to people. So if you find that you're pushing really hard, but there's no push off from the ground, it's still power. A quick variation is place a towel on the ground, rest your knees on, hands in front, going down, and push off. Okay? Again, the same thing is, if you find that you're not pushing off away from the ground, just simply extend your arms, going down, and push, fast. Going down, push, fast. We're still demonstrating, by the way. Okay, and the last one that we're going to work on, if you have a stick, place the stick behind the neck. Okay, I hope I don't break this one. Going down to the squat, stand, and then extend your arms. Going down to the squat, stand, and then extend your arms. If you don't have a stick, just place your thumbs on your shoulder, going down to the squat, stand, and press off. Squat, stand, and press off. This is for power, so we definitely want to see some speed during each of the repetition. If you find that you need breaks in between after 2 or 3 reps, it is fine. Just take a break and then join back, okay? I'm gonna start today's movement, so get yourself ready, shake it off a little bit, okay? All right, so we're gonna get started, all right? So starting from the front, you're gonna go down, lunge, stand, squat, 1. Remember, it's 1 aside. Lunge, stand, jump. That's 2. Jump as high as you can. Exhale on the way up. If you need a towel to cushion your knees, you can do that as well. Just like what I mentioned earlier, if you find that jumping off is really hard and probably challenges your knees or your ankles, you can jump lower. Going down, up. Okay. Try to bring your knee as close to the ground as possible. There'll be a clear demarcation of your mobility. We have 3 more on each side. If you're not perspiring yet, go faster. Last one. Okay, first round, first movement. Second movement, we're going to go into a push-up. So, make sure you have stable ground. Going down, push yourself up. 2, 3, 4. If you need to take a break at the bottom, do that. 5, 6, 7, 8. Last 2, rest a little bit. Get ready and push. 9, 10. Okay. Next one, we have thrusters. I'm going to start with the stick first. Second round, I'll join you if you don't have a stick with you. So, place the stick on top of your shoulders. Nice grip, straighten your wrist out. Try not to have your palms or your wrist bent or open up. Okay, and then from there, squat, stand, press out. 2, 3, exhale up, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, one last one, 10. Okay? Round 1 done, so let's get going again. Round 2, this time round we're gonna stand behind the mat. Okay, so forward lunge, stand, jump. Forward lunge, step back, jump. Keep the movement as fluid as possible. Watch out for your range of motion and your stability. If you find that your quads or your front thighs are burning a little bit too much, you're probably leaning forward a little bit too far. So make sure you lean back, realign your shoulder over your heels. You've got 5 more on each side. Oh, sorry, that's 5. So you've got 5 more after this. Jump as high as you can. It's like rise and shine. Last 4. Last 3. Options as well. Always a lot of options. If you find that this is easy, grab hold of the water bottle or anything weighted at home. I like working with my backpack. Take out the laptop, of course, and challenge yourself to perform the movements with some weights, okay? Right, back to the push-ups. Just to join those who are on the knees. Now, as I mentioned earlier, movements are the same, the power varies. So even if I'm on my knees, my expectation for myself is to pop up higher. 3, 4, 5, whoops, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, if you can actually push yourself back into a kneeling position, that'll be fantastic. Okay? All right, round 2, thrusters is a regression. Thumbs on your shoulders, going into a squat, stand, press out. Now, it's a power class. It's meant to be fast. So let's throw it out as fast as we can. Squat, stand, press out. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, round 2 done. Wipe your sweat off, shake it off, and drink a little bit of water. Last round, we're trying to go as fast as we can. Okay, so get yourself ready, okay? So step back, lunge, jump. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, fast 1, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, let's move down to the ground. Again, go back down to your knees, or without your knees, going down, press up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Use all the power you have. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, get ready for the last one. Bars behind. Gonna move fast for this. Get it ready, and let's go. Last of last for the day. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Last 4 for the day. 7, 8, 9, 10. We're done. I hope you enjoyed the power training. Just a quick stretch before I hand over to the beautiful mom of 4, Dawn, to lead you through the practice on the mat. So while you're hanging around, take a sit, focus on your breathing, straighten your feet out, drop both knees onto the ground. get a good stretch across your front thighs as well as your hip socket, and then switch over to the other side. Do that for 2 minutes, and Don will be back with you. Keep going.
Okay.
Yeah.
Say again? Only, you get only the 20 minutes. Oh. Okay, fast pace yoga.
All right, hi everybody, rise and shine. I'm Dawn. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. So we had Sam earlier on leading you through a powerful workout. I hope you're all still alive to join me for some yoga. It's not all stretch that I'm going to be doing, but I can tell you that it's going to be a lot kinder for those of you with knee issues. So join me for the earlier part of my practice this morning. For those of you who have knee problems and you would like to see how you can strengthen that joint as well as stretch it out. So we're going to start off with your standing poses first. Let's come onto our feet. All you're going to need is a yoga mat as well as a towel. All right, so we're going to have our feet just go out wide in a wide stance. Turn your right toes out, turn your left toes in. Option, for those of you who need to, take a smaller stance. If you can, take a wider stance. We're going to bend your right knee. We're going to turn the back toes in a little bit more. Bend your right knee. Now I want you to square your hips towards the front of your mat. If that is not possible, it's okay. Just go to your best ability. And if you need to, like I said, just make your stance a little bit narrower. So front toes, I'd like you to just spread them open. Back leg straight, front leg bend. And for those of you who need to, for whatever reason, around your shoulders, if you have to keep your hands on your hips, do that. But I want you to firstly imagine somebody's going to poke you in your stomach and you're getting ready for it. So let's keep your inner corsets on as you slowly extend both arms up. If you're okay with balancing, I'd like you to look up towards the ceiling. And if you don't feel all right around your neck, your shoulders don't feel good, just look straight ahead and maybe even have your hands rest on your hips. Let's stay here for another 3 more breaths. How we breathe when we're holding onto our poses for the more strengthening phase of your practice is always in through the nose. And as you exhale, you're trying to say H-A, ha, but your mouth is closed. Let's place our hands on our hips. We're going to step forwards and then change legs this time around, right? So right foot steps back, left foot stays in front. This is your warrior 1. Back foot turns in, front knee bends, toes spread open. So avoid clenching your toes. It actually gives you a smaller surface area on which you balance on, right? So spread the toes open, you'll find it's a lot easier to balance. Back leg is straight, hands either on the hips or arms extend up. Let's keep the belly wall firm. Remember, if somebody's about to poke you in your stomach, you're getting ready for it. So ideally, if you can, you're going to stay here for about 8 breaths, right? So that's just how long I'm going to be holding you here. Of course, if you can, the longer you can stay in the pose, the better. But just even it out on both sides, right? So you want to feel a little bit more weight as well on that front foot to the heel side. Not the toes, but the heel side. That helps you to ensure that you have a little less pressure towards your knees, and you're using your glutes, your buttocks, to work a lot harder here, not straining the knees. And then very slowly, we're going to place your hands on your hips, and we're going to step forwards, feet to the front. So the good thing about the yoga practice is there's no impact, right? So you get to strengthen the muscles around your legs without causing any irritation to your joints, right? So we're gonna have the legs out wide once again. We did warrior 1 earlier. We're gonna do warrior 2 this time. Wide stance once again, right foot is in front, left foot is behind. I'm gonna bend my right knee, I'm gonna keep my left leg straight. I'm gonna try to imagine if my pelvis was a fishbowl filled to the brim with water, I'm gonna try to keep it level. And then at that point, we're gonna extend both arms out. If you have to, place your hands on your hips, it's okay. But I also like you to, from your shoulders, try to turn your palms up. Just keep your chest more open, neck is long, and then from your wrists, go ahead and turn your palms down. Look towards your right fingers this time round. Now, if you could look at your front knee, I'd like you to have your knee pointing in the same direction as your big toe, your second toes. So avoid letting the knee collapse inwards, all right? Use your outer hips, pull the knee outwards, and then holding it here without tensing up the shoulders. So unshrug your shoulders. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side now. So go ahead and straighten your right leg, turn your toes in, turn your left toes out, and then go ahead and bend your left knee this time round. Look towards your left fingertips. So again, I'm gonna make sure that my toes are spread open. My knee points in the same direction as big toe, second toe, and I'm looking towards my left fingers without straining my shoulders. So think about unshrugging your shoulders here, and then observe your breathing as well. Inhale is always through nose, exhale, mouth closed. And you'll find that your breath out actually takes a wee bit longer than your breath in. Let's take one more breath here. And then very slowly, we're gonna straighten both legs out. I want you to turn your right toes out once again. We're gonna keep the toes spread open. This time, I'd like you to lean forwards, like you're trying to touch the wall in front of you. Now, if that strains your knee, I'd like you to keep a micro bend there. So go ahead and bend the knee a little bit, but not too much, all right? So leaning forwards, it helps me to ensure that both sides of your waist stays elongated. As we now start to lower down, see if you can reach for your ankle. If you can't, it's okay. Just hold on to your thigh lightly or your shin lightly, or reach for your ankle or maybe even the ground, right? So at that point, you're gonna be a bit more stable. You're gonna have your left arm reaching up, and if it is okay for your neck, you're gonna look up towards the ceiling as well, or your fingers. If you need to, just look down towards the ground, and that's fine, right? So either way, keep the spine long, from your tailbone to your crown. This is your triangle. And you're gonna feel that stretch along the inner thigh portion of your front leg, as well as your hamstrings, all right? So good for helping to loosen up tension on muscles that connect into your knee joint. So that helps to reduce pressure and tightness around that joint as well. And then very slowly bend that front knee. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side. As you press to come up, turn your right toes in, turn your left toes out, keeping both legs straight. If you need to, micro bend that left knee, all right? We're gonna extend forwards like you're trying to reach the wall on the other side now. Left hand comes down. How low you go, let's see where your body allows you to go, all right? Right arm goes up, and if you can, look up. If you need to, look down, all right? But at the same time, you want to keep both sides of your neck long. So think armpits to waist. We try to unshrug the shoulders here. Many of us carry too much tension there already. Now observe your breathing. If you hold your breath, if you tense up, right, it's really not going to help us to achieve what we're trying to do here. Right? So avoid shallow breathing, avoid holding your breath just to force yourself to form a shape. That's not what we're trying to do here. So I need you to feel that stretch to the area that I mentioned earlier, to the inner thigh part, to the back of your thighs. Right? At the same time, some of you are going to feel a very good stretch along the length of your torso as well. All right, go ahead and bend your left leg. I'm going to press to come back up. And we're going to go into your next pose, pyramid. So the hamstrings are one very particular area that tends to get shortened a lot when we sit. So it's a very important muscle to stretch on a daily basis, a few times a day if you can. And I'm going to have my right leg stay straight, my left leg bend. What I want you to do is to just take a baby step forwards, right? Because with the pyramid, it's going to be a lot more intense, a stretch to the back of your legs. So if your legs are a little bit too far apart, it can get a little bit difficult for you when it comes to balancing as well. And like I said, it's okay if you need to bend that front knee a bit. Where we're going to feel the stretch is to the back of your thigh on that right leg. You may have two chairs or maybe a table or a chair in front of you, right, to help you with balancing if need be. If you can do without it, watch. I'm going to now start to turn my chest towards the front leg. I'm going to slowly start to lean forwards. So at this point, for those of you who have trouble balancing, you can hold on the wall, you can hold on the two small chairs or stools, you can have a table in front of you, just to help you steady yourself and to ensure that you're not holding your breath or tensing up. Because sometimes when we worry about falling or losing our balance, we tend to hold our breath, right? So the more you can bring your chest closer towards your thigh, the deeper the stretch to the back of your thigh. And that also can affect the knee joint, right? Because it's a very big group, the muscles on the back of your thighs can actually cause a lot of tension and compression around the knee joint if they're too tight. And then very slowly, go ahead and bend that front knee to come back up. Let's take a step forward to the left leg. We're going to do the same thing here. Left foot forwards, right leg, turn the toes in, and then spread the toes open for that front leg. Square your chest, hips towards the front of your mat, and then keeping your spine elongated, long spine, so avoid rounding your backs, yeah? We don't collapse the chest. We don't cave the chest in. You start to lean your torso in the direction of your thigh, and then go to the point where you feel the stretch. The thing is, I don't need you to work too hard here, right? If you want to, you can always reach down for the floor. For those more flexible friends, you may even want to bring your forehead closer towards your knee, but again, don't force, right? So the majority of you, I would say you're just starting off, just have your hands lightly resting on something to help with balancing. Let's take up another 3 more breaths, right? So ideally, I also want you to try to feel the left hip. Left leg's in front, yeah? So left hip reaches back, right hip reaches forwards, and that can help you get a much deeper stretch to the particular muscles that we're stretching out here. All right, and bend that front knee. Let's step forwards, feet to the front, and shake the legs out. Now, I'm going to have you have your feet hip-width distance apart first, but watch. I'm going to use my towel here. Now, the front of the thighs, the back of the thighs, quads, hamstrings, your inner thighs, and your outer thighs. These are particular muscles that you want to strengthen in order to help support your knee joint, right? So for whatever reason, if your knees have been injured before, they're just weak, right? These are muscles that you in particular want to strengthen. So by using a towel here, and putting it between my thighs, as I go for my chair pose, it's going to help me to activate my inner thighs a lot more as I work on the other muscle groups in my legs, on my legs as well. So I'm going to have my arms extend forwards. I'm kind of squeezing the towel already, right? So inner thighs are working. Arms are reaching forwards as I take a seat back and down. So try not to make the mistake of putting too much pressure to the front of the foot, like I mentioned earlier. The more weight you can put on your heels, the more you're going to be working on your glutes, right? So these are big muscles that you want to engage here, right? So sit the bum back and down. Now option, for those of you who want to take it up a notch, you can rise up on tiptoe, you can lower your heels down. You can rise up on tiptoe, you can lower your heels down. Let's do that for 4 more breaths, right? So option 1, stay put. Option 2, you lift and you lower. The whole time, we are working on squeezing that towel between the thighs. 2 more times here. Inhale and exhale. And your thighs might start to shiver. 1 more time. Let it shiver away. It's perfectly fine, right? And then very slowly coming on up. Yeah. All right, so that is your chair pose with an option to work slightly harder. No impact either. So now I'm going to have you come closer towards the ground. You can have your towel handy as well for those of you who need support for your elbows, right? So you can just open it up this way. Maybe place your hand on the towel for support if you need to. For those of you who have wrist issues, it's okay to rest your forearm on the towel instead. It's all right, right? But make sure that whatever you choose, your wrist or your forearm, you're pushing strongly into the ground, right? So that helps to support the shoulder a lot better. Now what I want to do here now is to have your hand rest on the ground. I'm going to have my bottom leg extended out this way. Top leg or right leg is at the bottom. Left leg is on the top. I'm going to extend my right leg out. I'm going to press down on my left leg. So whichever leg is behind, I'm going to push it down, right? Bottom leg is straight. And then I extend my top arm up and out. So I bring my bicep closer towards my ear. So you can hold it here, or you can make it slightly more challenging by coming down, hips almost touch the ground, and then I go back up again. What I'm working on is this part here. Outer hips, I'm going to feel it. Exhale. I'm also working on the muscles around my torso. Let's do another 4 more here. And then raise the arm up. 3. And extend. 2. So if you have to, please, with whatever exercise that we're doing here, similar to what Sam was guiding you through as well, Even though we ask you for 10 repetitions, if you can only start off with 3, please just do 3, right? And then build it up. Next week, do 4. Following week, do 5. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side now. So I'm going to have my left hand or left elbow resting on the ground. Right leg, bend. Left leg, straight. Press down, push to lift, and exhale. So don't rush into things. Inhale, and exhale. At the very least, you're just going to go through momentum, and you're not really using muscles to do the movement. There's very little control. And on the other end, if you push yourself too hard too soon, you might end up getting injured also. Let's do 3 more here. And press and lower. 2 more times, and I feel the muscles around my thigh working here as well, and there's no impact. 1 more time, and exhale and lower down. So that is your modified side plank. 1 more to strengthen. We're going to come onto your back, right? So from a bridge, I'm going to have my towel off to the side. My feet are hip-width distance apart. Now you have 2 options. Similar to what I did for chair pose earlier, I had my towel between my thighs. I'm going to do the same thing here because that's going to help me to further switch on my inner thighs as I go for a bridge. So holding it here, if I were not using my inner thighs, the towel would drop. So your job is to hold under the towel, not let it drop, as you stay here for 8 to 10 breaths. The whole time, you're getting a gentle stretch at the back of your neck as well, which is what many of us need, right? Because of technology now, a lot of us have compressed cervical spines at the back. So keep your chin tucked in towards your chest. Of course, if you have to, you don't come up that high. Let's stay there for 3 more breaths. And you should feel the front of your thighs stretching and working. You should feel your butt. You should feel the back of your thighs working here as well. 1 more deep breath. And then very slowly, lowering down. Hug your knees in towards your chest, gently rocking side to side. And then I'm going to roll forwards and back until I come up to a sit. So that concludes the strengthening part of the yoga practice. We're going to do some stretches now. We strengthen, we stretch. These are 2 things that are very important for you to do in order to have a healthier knee joint. So I'm going to come into a kneeling position. For those of you who need to, please have your towel handy so that you can cushion your knees. This is the hero pose, right? So at some point, you will find that there's going to be some pain. Make sure that it is one where you actually don't feel sharp pain. It should be a pull, right? It should never be a sharp pain. It's the way of your body telling you something is wrong. Don't do that, right? So if at this point you already feel a stretch, a good stretch at the front of your knees and your thighs, you just stay here, right? Some people will also feel an intense stretch along the top parts of your ankles. It's okay, just stay here. If you can go further, hands reach back. If you can go further, hands reach back some more. And for some of you, this is good enough. But if you can still go further, you rest your forearms down on the ground. For some who can lay down on your back, you can do that as well. But for most, at this point, it is enough. In fact, many of you have your knees popping up. I want to encourage you to press your knees down towards the ground. Right? So you feel that stretch along the front parts, the top parts of your thighs, and the front of your knees, and the tops of your ankles. It's a good shin stretch as well. Let's stay there for 1 more breath. My towel was cushioning my knees, but you could have another one that's cushioning the top parts of your ankles as well. Right? For those of you who are sensitive around the ankles. And to come back up, hand down, push to come back up. And that is your hero pose. We're going to go into a seated spine twist now. I'm going to have this towel away. So I'm going to have my left leg come under, my right leg come over. Right foot outside, left knee. I'm going to sit up tall. I'm going to make sure that both sides of my sits bones or my hips are level. Whichever leg is on top, I'm going to give it a hug. And then I'm going to have my free arm go back, and then I twist. Alright, so if you can go further, this is option 1, and this is option 2. Take your left elbow outside your right knee, press against that knee or thigh, and look back at the wall behind you. Now avoid rounding your backs. Sit up tall and twist. So you're going to stay there for another 3 more breaths. And 2, and 1, Let's change over, other side. Switching over, right leg under, left leg, foot outside thigh. I'm gonna prop myself to sit up tall first, right? So we rotate through a tall, elongated spine versus doing it from a rounding slouch, right? So option 1, hug that knee. Option 2, elbow outside thigh. And then we push to facilitate us to go into that twist. You won't be able to breathe very deep here, typical of twists, but do make sure that you're not holding your breath. Right? So I'm going to hold it here for another 4 more breaths. So I feel that stretch along the outside of my hips, and that is very beneficial for people who do suffer from sciatica. Right? So I would encourage you to do this, but at the same time, it stretches a band of tissue that runs along the outside of the knee as well. So if you can do this every day, for those of you who suffer from pain or tightness around the outside of your knees, this is a good one. All right, and slowly coming back to the center. Now I'm going to have the feet come together, like a butterfly. I'm going to hold onto my feet here, and you may like to have your knees fluttering, your legs fluttering like a butterfly as well. I like this for days when I've been sitting down for very long. It really helps with facilitating circulation around the pelvis and to help lubricate the hip sockets as well. Right? Now, from here, we're going to start to lean the body towards the feet. Avoid rounding your back as you do this. So at this point, if you feel a really good stretch already, that's just how far you're going to go. If you can, you go lower. If you can, you go lower. In fact, sometimes I like my kids to help me press my knees down towards the ground. But I make sure that it's my younger kids who do that. My oldest one is already heavier than I am, so cannot. All right, hold it there for another 1 more breath and stop. So that stretches out the inner thighs, right? So for many of us, we do feel pain or tightness around the insides of your knees. In particular, this will be very good for those of you who suffer from that. We're going to lie down on your stomachs now and come into your Sphinx. If you want to, you can always have your towel opened up. I'm going to have your forearms resting on the towel. I'm coming into my Sphinx. So the goal is to stretch the front part of my thigh, okay, the quads. So elbows are shoulder width apart. I'm going to prop myself up, pushing into the ground. So at this point, I feel an abdominal stretch already. I feel my abs stretching. To help facilitate that even further, I'm going to keep my upper and lower teeth touching, and I'm going to try to look up. But I don't collapse my weight into my arms. So shoulders are still distance away from the ears. Now, very slowly, look back towards the front once again. Now, right leg first. I'm going to bend it, and then I'm going to try to catch that ankle. If you cannot, never mind, right? Just try. So at least you still get your abs stretch here. Don't worry, with the hero pose, we've already stretched the quads. But this just gives you another option, right, to pull in, and then you get that shoulder stretch as well. So I like how this feels on my right shoulder, especially since I have injuries to begin with. It really helps with all the scar tissue that's around there. So I facilitate some circulation going on there. Right? And pull the heel in towards your hips to feel that stretch along the front of the thigh. And slowly release. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Left leg bends, left arm back, pull it in, press if you can. Oh, ankle just popped. Okay. No, I didn't break anything. Okay, so heel comes in for another 1 more breath. All right, and relax. I'm going to push myself up into a reclining pigeon. So I'm going to stretch this part here now, all right, around the outsides of the hips. All right, so for people who do, again, suffer from sciatica, this is a good one for you, right? So I'm going to position my hips somewhat in the center of the mat. I'm going to have my right leg crossed over my left, right? Right over left. I'm going to bring both legs in towards me. Option 1, fingers interlock behind the thigh. Option 2, fingers interlock in front of that left knee. And then you pull. So the closer you can bring your legs towards your torso, the deeper the stretch to the outside of your hips. Now let's do the same thing on the other side. So on your own, you can also stay for a lot longer, right? If you need to, stay for a little shorter a period. But if you can, the longer you can stay in the stretches, the better, right? Now one last one here, which you can also do for a longer period of time for yourself, is reclining hand to big toe. So I'm going to have my 2 fingers on one hand, hook onto the big toe, and pull it in towards me. The goal is to stretch the back of your thigh here. So if your knee kind of bends this way, but you still feel a very good stretch on the back of your leg, that's just how it's going to look like for you. I'm going to shorten it, so I'm going to change it over to the other side. But like I said, on your own, you can hold it for about 8 to 10 breaths, maybe even longer. And if you need to, you can't even reach for your foot, you can always have your towel to help you as well, right? I'm gonna roll myself up. And I'd like to thank all of you so much for joining me today, and Sam for the earlier segment. So hopefully I did share some very informative tips and tricks that you can do for, in time to come during this circuit breaker period and beyond. So if you have any questions, please just drop us a comment and I'll try to answer you. If not, please try out the exercises and build up your stamina, build up your strength. Just to recap what we did today, Power to Zen, we start off with a more powerful workout first, or a more strenuous workout, but do monitor your resistance. So like I said, if you can only do a few repetitions, start with that and build it up. And then what I did later on was a bit kinder for those of you with knee issues. So yeah, even if you don't have any knee problems, it's a great way to help you to, complement whatever else that you're doing, right? Especially with the stretches. So if you're doing a lot of running, these are great for you as well. Stay tuned for 9 to 10 when Barbara and Kelly come onto the morning show. And of course, there's cooking tomorrow. So those of you who want to try new recipes, stay tuned. Look out for the schedule that Get Active TV has on Facebook. And I hope to see you all soon.